We've got just a few more minutes, so I like to make sure we give everybody time to get on before we get started.
Yes.
So we'll give it till, we'll give it 3 more minutes.
No worries.
And then I'll do a little introduction on what we do, and then we'll get started. So that
Okay.
gives everybody a little bit more time before we get into the meat. But people are strapped for time. So some people can get here early, but some people are probably scurrying to get here.
Yes.
We can get started. My name is Lori Leblanc, and I am a consultant with the Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center. We are with the University of Arkansas, and we are part of a national network of small business development centers located on university campuses across the United States. We are funded by the Small Business Administration and then also funded by universities across the country, and along with some private funding. We provide training programs like this one, also addressing a variety of topics that are relevant for small businesses. We also provide free one-on-one consulting services, which is probably the most valuable service that we provide. In addition to valuable market research that can be used in business plans and to help you assess whether or not your business idea is viable. We help write business plans, put together financial projections. We provide marketing consulting, among a variety of other topics. In addition, it's just a good idea to reach out to us with your questions. We have a great website with webinars and other resources that can be great tools and resources to answer a lot of your questions. A lot of our past seminars are also featured there. So you can watch those videos if there are topics that are related to some of the things you're looking for, and then reach out to us if you're interested in the one-on-one consulting. We're here to help. We're all very passionate about what we do. We're passionate about small business, and we're all very passionate about helping people. So we set up this session today with Kimberly Randle, who is with Apex. I will let her tell you more about what her organization does, but we wanted to get this together because we have a lot of clients coming to us with questions about government contracting, and we felt like this was a very important topic to cover with our clients because we hear about it so much, and we want to make sure that our clients are educated on this topic and understand who to contact that has the expertise in handling this matter, so that you get the best service in the community possible, because that's one thing we really value and place a high value on, is making sure that our clients get the best service from the right resources in the community. So I'll turn it over to Kimberly and let her kind of take it from here.
Thank you so much, Lori, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking your time today to learn more about government contracting. I'm always excited to share about this industry and how businesses can get involved. So we look forward to sharing more details here as we go through today's program. So if I can get my slides to advance. One moment, please.
You may have to go back to that other format.
Now, let me try. There we go. Okay, sorry for that little technical glitch. Okay, so why does this matter to you all to begin with? First and foremost, the government procures simply just about everything imaginable. So each year, these are numbers for fiscal year 23, the federal government buys billions of dollars of all kinds of goods and services, and 23% of that is automatically dedicated to small business procurements. So just last year, that equated to over $170 billion. Now, that is the federal government. When you take what state, county, and local governments buy, you can double that number each year. There are also other benefits to your business by contracting with the government. Some of those include offsetting cyclical fluctuations throughout the year. Certain businesses experience that, helping to enhance your business's visibility within the industry, stabilizing cash flow, helping you project out long term. You know, some contracts have a base year and then option years that are added onto it. So there are many benefits to working with the government. At the Arkansas Apex Accelerator, we have been helping Arkansas-based business compete for government contracts for over 30 years. Those of you may have worked with us previously. You might know us by our former name, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, but we underwent a name change and a shift within the Department of Defense last year. So we are now the Apex Accelerators. We are part of a national network of Apex Accelerators, so we can garner expertise from our counterparts all around the country in helping your business to be successful. In Arkansas, our cooperative cost-sharing partner is the University of Arkansas System. We fall within the Division of Agriculture in large part because the Cooperative Extension Service has a presence in all of Arkansas' 75 counties, thereby making our services readily accessible throughout the state. This is our team, small but mighty, though we be. Melanie Berman is our program director and has many years of experience and expertise in her role guiding us. Savannah George, if you have contacted our Little Rock office, you have likely spoken with either Savannah or Carrie. Savannah is our client and intake specialist. Carrie is our newest team member and serves as our administrative specialist, so we're delighted to have her on board. And then Kim McGee works on our behalf all around the state, representing us at outreach events. She is a part-time member of our team and spends a lot of time running the tax schools that she holds around the state of Arkansas each year. And then we have 4 counselors. So Tiara and Tim are based in Little Rock, or as the former 4 that I just mentioned, all based out of Little Rock. Tim and Tiara help clients throughout the southwest and southeast part of the state, as well as central Arkansas. And then Flora is based at the Delta Economic Development Center in Jonesboro. She serves clients in the northeast part of Arkansas. And I work with clients in 21 counties that make up the northwest part of the state. This is where you can find me. I office out of the Northwest Arkansas Community College when I'm not on the road meeting with clients in the Shoemaker Global Business Development Center. So I invite you to come and meet with me here anytime. So Apex, as I said, we fall under the Department of Defense, but we help clients working with all agencies in the federal government, as well as state and locally. Some of our goals are now to really help to spur innovation, to create resilient and diverse supply chains, and also to accelerate businesses competing in the government marketplace. So you can see here some of those goals include helping to diversify the mix of businesses working with the government, helping to prepare businesses to be ready to compete for defense-related government contracts, helping to improve cybersecurity for all of our businesses at whatever level they're working, just a variety of goals and objectives that we are pledged to work on every day. And we provide our services much like the ASB TDC. We're always happy to meet in person. We meet virtually. We meet a lot with one-on-one counseling appointments that enable us to customize our services really to serve your individual business needs. Once you're a client of the Arkansas Apex, you have access to our bid matching program, which is a wonderful method of locating government contracts that are pertinent to your business however we set up the profile for your business. We can also help you as you're going through the process of seeking solicitation opportunities, preparing your proposal and responding to those solicitations. And then we can help support you once you're performing those contracts in ways you may need help. We also provide workshops, networking events, trainings such as this, a whole variety of activities to really help support you in building out your government contracting expertise. So people often ask me, what does it take to be a government contractor? Well, here it is in black and white. It's a federal regulation. Are you able to be responsive and responsible? Two things the government is always looking for is the best value and low risk. They want the best value for the taxpayers, and they do not want to have to come back and recompete a contract because someone was not able to fulfill it. So they look for whether you have satisfactory performance. Is your business able to fulfill the requirements of the contract? Do you have the necessary skill set, experience, expertise, the equipment, whatever the contract may require? And we at the Arkansas Apex ask these things. We ask that you complete a client authorization form. It's very simple. It's online. Takes all of about 5 minutes to give us the authorization to provide our services, which are all available to you at no cost. We too ask that you have a viable business, that your business be based in Arkansas. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't help you to work anywhere in the world or anywhere in the United States, because we can, but we work primarily with Arkansas-based businesses. There are a few exceptions to that, but we have a courtesy arrangement with our fellow Apex accelerators, and so we can work out those details if there's a case to be made otherwise, but that pretty much makes up our client base. And then we ask that you be active in competing for government contracts. So we want to help you be positioned, but we also want you to go after and pursue them. And then we ask that you let us know. We get as excited as you whenever our clients win awards for contract opportunities. And then there are a few things that we cannot do. So we do not provide financial assistance and support to our clients. We also cannot endorse your business or you. We cannot prepare your bid or your proposal. We can't tell you how to price your products. We can assist you with understanding how best to provide that information, but that is not our role. We cannot represent you or act as your agent. We cannot help you in a legal action directed against the government. And as I mentioned earlier, all of our services are available to you always at no cost. So last year, our clients performed over $100 million in contract awards just in the state of Arkansas. We love that. We want to grow that. And, we're so lucky in Arkansas because we have wonderful, wonderful resource partners. As Lori was saying, we're all devoted to your success. We work very collaboratively together. We support each other. We share clients. Sometimes our clients are working amongst our organizations simultaneously, again, depending on what is best for your particular business. This is our website. You can find lots of helpful information there. You can go on, as I mentioned earlier, and become a client on our website, but we also post trainings there. We have resources, newsletters with tips and helpful pointers. So please check out our website. It's a great resource to you, available 24/7. And then another advantage of being an Arkansas Apex client is access to Gavology. So Gavology is comprised of leading experts in the field of government contracting all around the country. And these are professionals, whether they be in the field of, government contracting or legal, whatever the background might be, but it's a great resource and provides on-demand and live webinars for our clients. Normally, their trainings might run anywhere from $75 to $150 or more each, but when you're a client, you have access to them at no cost. And then again, just a shout out to our resource partners. We couldn't do what we do every day if we weren't all working side by side together with your best interest at heart. Okay, now then, let's jump into government contracting. And we will be taking questions at the end, so please write down whatever comes to mind and we'll be happy to cover it for you. So every activity in the United States is divided up into industry sector and then assigned a North American Industry Classification System code. That's kind of a mouthful. Those of you that have been in government contracting at all know it's kind of alphabet soup and we use lots of abbreviations. So in this case, we term this the NAICS code. You can look on the website with the U.S. Census Bureau. Be sure you select the 2022 NAICS search bar, the most recent one, because these do get updated periodically. But you can put in a keyword there and find what is a pertinent NAICS code for your business. You can have more than one, but the government asks that you deem one as your primary NAICS code, and that will be the one that most of your revenues are derived from. And then the Small Business Administration takes those NAICS definitions and they say, okay, under certain caps, whether it be by employee or by revenue amounts, you are deemed to be a small business. And so the SBA's definition of a small business is that you're organized for profit, that you operate primarily within the U.S., and that you are independently owned and operated, not dominant in your field on the national scene, and that you fall within those designated size standards that the SBA applies to the NAICS codes. So if you're selling products, it will be an employee amount. And if you're providing services, it will be a revenue amount that the SBA assigns to the NAICS codes that determine if you're small or not. So in the state of Arkansas, according to the SBA, 99.3% of all businesses are small. So you can't be too small, but once you fall under those thresholds, you are small. Now, we're going to talk about federal government contracting first. And there's a few things that you need to do in advance of getting registered with the System for Award Management, or SAM, as we call it. And that is, again, if you are not a sole proprietor, your business should be registered with the Arkansas Secretary of State. You need to have established your tax ID. You need to have established a bank account, and you need to have established at least one NAICS code that can be your primary NAICS code. You will get assigned a unique entity identifier, or UEI, once you register in the System for Award Management, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So this is a System for Award Management, or SAM, what it looks like when you pull it up. One word of caution, there are entities that try and trick you into registering with them instead of registering with SAM. So be sure you go to the System for Award Management or SAM home so that you will be at the correct location. You can pretty much always tell a government website because it'll be a .gov. So in this instance, sam.gov or .mil, M-I-L, for the military. So this is what SAM looks like. You would create a login and a password, and then we can always work with you. There's a number of questions involved in registering with SAM, but this is basically the portal that you have to be in to compete for a government contract at the federal level. This is how the government will pay you. All contract opportunities, $25,000 or more, will be posted here. And it's also a great tool where you can, search other businesses, find contract opportunities, look for others that are working in your same industry. It serves a variety of purposes. So for the federal government, as we talked about at the beginning, 23% of all the federal government spend is set aside for small businesses, and it's automatically set aside between $10,000 and $250,000, as long as there are two companies that can provide the product or service at a fair and reasonable price. So in addition to that 23% that we talked about that's eligible for all small businesses, there also are a few categories where there are set aside contracts as well. So the first and the highest one you'll see there is 13% for a small disadvantaged business. This goal is actually going to 15% by 2025. And we will talk more about each of these as we go through. But 5% is for service disabled small businesses, 5% goal for women-owned small businesses, and 3% goal for what we call HUBZone, or historically underutilized business zone businesses. So let's talk first about the small disadvantaged business. There's two aspects to this. This is the only one of the federal certifications that can be a self-certification. And that self-certification occurs in the System for Award Management. And I will show you where in just a few minutes. But the small disadvantaged business is for those that are deemed to be both socially and economically disadvantaged. You must be a small business. According to the SBA, you must be a U.S. citizen and resident. You must be able to show good character and be 51% unconditionally and directly owned. You must have unconditional control. And as I said, you have to be both socially and economically disadvantaged. So, since July of this year, there have been some changes in this program, and now anyone who wants to say that they are a small disadvantaged business must be able to meet a 4-part test. So your social disadvantage can be determined by some objective distinguishing feature, by demonstrating bias or discrimination experienced in American society, not somewhere else, that it is chronic and substantial and not fleeting and insignificant, and that there's been an impact to either your education, your employment, or to your business. So the SBA is now asking that anyone create a narrative, a social disadvantage narrative. And this is not an exhaustive expose of, all things in your past. They really are looking for 2 separate and detailed incidents of bias. They're looking for information and evidence where the bias was the motivating factor over other legitimate grounds for each of the incidents, and that it's had a negative impact on your entry or advancement with your business. Now, again, this is a self-certification as well as a formal certification known as the 8A program. But for the self-certification purposes, you want to be able to have shown your due diligence in how you meet these criteria in the event that an award you receive may be protested in the future on the grounds of your self-certification. And then these are the economic disadvantaged criteria. So most people are pretty surprised that these are so generous, but a personal net worth of $850,000. Your 3-year average income is $400,000 or less each year, and that the fair market value of all your assets is $6.5 million or less. So your fair market value does include the value of your home, but that's just so you're not claiming economic disadvantage and living in a multi-million-dollar estate. It does exclude your investment in your business and your investment in your retirement accounts. Okay, here is where in SAM you would select that you are self-certifying as a small disadvantaged business. If you see down there below the NAICS codes, there is a little box and you just would select in that drop-down menu, yes or no. So I think I've really covered all of this. We'll just move on here. Pretty much talked about that. And we'll just talk now about the 8A. So the eligibility criteria for the 8A business development program are the same as a small disadvantaged business. The difference is this is a formal certification process with the Small Business Administration. It is a 9-year business development program, a true business development program meant to help a business move into, success with government contracting and in the government marketplace. Again, you must be both socially and economically disadvantaged, and they provide lots of training and technical assistance to those who are participants in the 8A program. Some of those benefits include there are set-asides and sole source contracts that are identified for 8As. 8A participants have access to the SBA Mentor Protege program. They can participate in joint ventures with established businesses. They get access to federal surplus property, and veterans also do, and municipalities and counties get access to federal surplus property. And then there's also a free training program that helps to build your skills to run your business and to compete for government contracts. All right, now for women-owned certifications, the SBA now oversees all of the federal service certifications, so they've done a great job of coming in and building in consistency among the various certifications. You'll see some of the eligibility requirements are the same. For example, if you are going to be certified as an economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business, then those economic criteria are the very same as what we just looked at for the small disadvantaged business in 8A. So they've kind of, streamlined the process a bit. They've also done a great job. This is the website where you would go, but you can see they have like a question, should I apply? And it's a little questionnaire that'll walk you through. Well, here are the things you need to consider for your eligibility. Would I be eligible? And then their knowledge base breaks down the certification process into, I'm preparing to apply. Now I'm applying. Now I'm, pending my application. So it answers lots of questions and provides lots of resources on their website if you are wanting to go this route. What are the eligibility as a woman-owned small business? You must be able to demonstrate that you have day-to-day involvement with the business. You have the skill set to run the business. You're the highest officer, the highest paid employee. You have to be able to demonstrate 51% ownership and that you can't be like outvoted by your board. You do not have to have a minimum time in business. This varies from the state certification, which we'll talk about a little later. But those are the principal criteria for a women-owned small business. And then you take all of those criteria and you add on the economic considerations that we just looked at. They're the same for the small disadvantaged business, and then you could get certified as an economically disadvantaged woman-owned business. And if you're going to pursue certification as a woman-owned small business, then you need to have a NAICS code that is identified for women-owned small businesses. The SBA has that. You just would Google WOSB NAICS codes, and there's a whole list, and you can, you need to have your primary NAICS code be one that is on the WOSB NAICS list. And here are the eligibility for the economically disadvantaged, again, identical to those for a small disadvantaged business. With respect to veteran-owned small business certification, the Vet Cert program moved just last year under the umbrella of the SBA. Prior to that, it was within the Veterans Administration. But now, as I said, all of the federal certifications are under the umbrella of the SBA. So there's 3 criteria. You'd have to be a 51% veteran-owned entity. You would need to be registered in the system for award management, and you'd also need to be deemed small according to the SBA size standards. Again, the SBA has done a great job of streamlining, making this process very approachable and straightforward. So we talked about the 5% goal for veterans. Within the Veterans Administration, there is a higher goal. So basically, they will, for their contract opportunities, start with service-disabled veterans. If they don't find someone qualified in that category, then they'll go to veteran-owned small businesses. And then beyond that, virtually anybody else. But they have a really high commitment to utilizing veteran and service-disabled veterans in the Veterans Administration. And here's the website for the Vet Cert program. If you want to check to see if a partner, if you want to verify it, this is where you go to check if another business is actually certified. You could plug in the business name, and then you'll be able to search for the company and see how long their eligibility lasts, what the renewal is, etc. The 4th of the certifications at the federal level is the HUBZone certification. This is the only one that is not based on the eligibility of the owner. It's more based on the physical location of the business. And their map is great. You can Google this HUBZone map, and you just plug in your address there, hit search, and it'll tell you if you're qualified or not. If you are qualified according to their map, then there's other eligibilities that is required. So your principal place of business must be located in a hub zone. You must be small according to the SBA. The company must be 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens. As I said, located in a hub zone, and at least 35% of the employees must reside in a hub zone. It doesn't have to be the same hub zone as the principal address hub zone, but they would have to reside in a hub zone. And this applies to the employees that are full and part-time, and the description is that they've worked a minimum of 40 hours in the 4 weeks prior to submitting your HUBZone application. And then there's kind of like other checkpoints after certification to make sure you're maintaining this requirement. But there's some of the other eligibility regarding the HUBZone program. And then this, I just wanted to show, this is the portal where you go. All of these certifications are an online application through this certified.sba.gov. Again, there's lots of helpful information and resources there. I direct you to look into, like for the 8A program, there's guidance on how to, create your narrative. So they've really thought through what a person would need going for these certifications. And then, we at the Apex Accelerator are also happy to assist you with this process and, review your documents, try and help to make sure that when you submit your application that it doesn't get kicked back, because then that leads to additional delay in being certified. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about state and local government contracting. So with the state of Arkansas, there's kind of two main places that you want to be registered. So, you've got the system for award management when you're registering at the federal level. With the state, you need to be registered with the Office of State Procurement. You can go to their website. There is a box down here. It says vendors. So you just click onto that. You can look at bid opportunities. You can, this is a form that you would complete. You'll get assigned a number, an ACES number that then will be how you get paid also with the state. A second site is RBuy. Again, you can see there's a place here up in the right hand. It says supplier registration. So you'll want to register there. But these are two sites. At some point in the future, we think these will be collapsed to one. But right now, we just recommend our clients be represented on both to maximize their access to opportunities. So with the state, anything below $20,000 is a small purchase according to the state of Arkansas. So that means, you might get a call, or you can compete without a formal process below that $20,000 threshold. Between $20,000 and $75,000, the state contracting officers take 3 quotes to award a contract, and then over $75,000 is the formal proposal solicitation process. There's 2 primary certifications with the state of Arkansas. The first is the Arkansas Economic Development Commission's Minority Woman-Owned Business Enterprise certification. And the benefit of this certification is where we just saw that small purchase threshold being $20,000. When you are certified with the state, that doubles to 40,000. So without a formal contract process, you can compete for those contracts when you're certified by the state as a minority women-owned business enterprise. And again, these eligibility requirements are a little different than the federal level. So again, 51% minority or women-owned. Again, you must be involved in the day-to-day management and operation of the business. Where it differs principally is the state requires that you have 2 years of tax returns with the state and the federal government to pursue certification. And they ask that you have a legal presence to operate in Arkansas and that you be a legal permanent resident. So not working remotely from some distant location. Again, that you be a for-profit business and that your enterprise generate less than 10 million in average annual revenues. We spoke to this, the threshold doubles to 40,000. That's a big benefit. The AEDC also offers an online directory that you can submit your business to be there, just like in SAM, when you register, you know, other businesses, contracting officers and all can go and search for you in SAM, same way with this online directory when you're a minority or woman-owned business enterprise and you register, or well, 2 things here. I just wanted to show this. You can submit your business to the directory right here. You do not have to have those 2 years to submit your business. You just have to be minority and or woman-owned business. And the AEDC might contact you if they have some clarifications regarding your business, but it's pretty straightforward. It's a form that you submit, and then your directory is searchable there by other businesses, contracting officers, etc. To get certified, they have a certain location here. Just like the SBA, they have done a great job of, you know, walking you through the process. So they have like an initial questionnaire that you could complete to say, okay, am I eligible and should I pursue this? And then once you start the certification process, they line it out, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Again, here's just showing, here's the get certified, here's the steps they lay out. Very helpful resource. Another state certification is with the Arkansas Department of Transportation. Now, the Arkansas Department of Transportation oversees the federal monies that flow to the state of Arkansas from the Federal Department of Transportation. So they have this program really to focus on making sure they're also working with disadvantaged business enterprises. Typically, those that pursue this certification are involved in transportation, highway safety, working with the airports, you know, highway construction, those types of businesses. And they ask that the business be organized for profit, that the business be at least 51% owned by a socially and economically disadvantaged individual, and that your receipts not exceed 23 million. Now, I wanted to show this as an example. There are other, I call them pooled contract sites where you can register. So this one is RBid, not to be confused with RBuy, but you can see here, these are a group of entities that have gone together and kind of organically created a government contracting portal. You wouldn't necessarily put these together, but you know, they have aligned themselves to have their contract opportunities on the RBid site. And you can go in and register here, you know, get information about opportunities that are coming up. So I just wanted to be sure and make sure you're aware other sites like that you can register for. And then at the county level, you know, again, lots of contracting goes on at the state, the local, the county level. At the county level, your county judge in Arkansas is your CEO of the county. They really have the authority to execute contracts. And different counties are kind of organized differently. It just varies, you know, you can identify some. I would say at particularly the county and the local level, government contracting is going to be directly related to relationships that you cultivate. So it's kind of more of a relationship-driven activity. You can, you know, certainly register, gain information on their websites, but it never hurts to, you know, make that personal introduction, send your capability statement, kind of, you know, put a name and a face with your business for them. And I have many contracting officers and managers tell me at the local and the county level, look, don't just send your information to me. Find the department that you would be, you know, providing services to potentially, and make entree to them, and, you know, send your information to them as well, because they will be involved in the decision-making process probably at some point as well. So I just show an example. This is Washington County's site. You can, you know, Google purchasing. Here again, you can go online. They've got a, you know, they show you here, here's where you go to get information. You can register, you can get notices of new solicitations that get posted. Here's information about bids and proposals. So really helpful. It's a little more of a patchwork at the county and the local level as to how, you know, what the online presence is. But again, lots of opportunity. And same thing with cities. Here I've used the city of Fayetteville. Here, you know, they clearly have their purchasing information provided. You know, you want to, again, make sure you're registering, getting those notifications, making sure they're aware that you're out there, qualified, eager to do business with them. You know, communicating with the department leads as well as the purchasing leads, because the purchasing leads are going to take the information for the program from the person who's requesting them to put out the solicitation. So it, you know, you can get involved and create a kind of identity and presence for your business. Here's an example of the city of Fayetteville. They have got a new bidding portal, and you just click on the link there and it takes you so you can register. Then you can get noticed. You create a login and a password. Then you get noticed of contract opportunities, and can, you know, potentially work with the city of Fayetteville. And here on our website, as I mentioned, we have lots of great resources, but here's under resources, we've kind of made this short, easy hyperlink, so you can go to some of these that are predominant in the state and register and get information. You know, don't try and do them all. You might start with a handful and really work to develop those relationships. Pick a few cities or counties that you want to kind of target and work with, and kind of deepen your relationships and build out that network, along with, you know, checking their opportunities. Our bid matching process allows us to set up a profile for our clients, and we can set it up so that it will sweep every 24 hours. Contracting opportunities that were posted on it sweeps like 3,000 sites, and we can set it up, whether you want to see international opportunities, do you want to see federal agency opportunities, do you want to just focus on the Department of Defense, do you want state opportunities included, do you want the local opportunities? So we can really structure your bid matching profile just for you and your interests, and then it can be adapted over time. And every 24 hours, instead of having to go out and look at all these different places or get onto SAM, you will have come to your inbox every day a list of the latest postings for your NAICS codes or your other codes that we can input, or keywords into your inbox. And it doesn't cost a thing. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the other ways to really maximize the visibility for your business in government contracting. So anyone who registers in the system for award management is going to have a default profile with the Small Business Administration. It's called the Dynamic Small Business Search Profile. And this is what it looks like. Contracting officers go in here all the time, and I could put several pages of all the different ways they can slice and dice and look, filter out and look for viable contracting vendors. But this is a very important place to be well represented and put your best foot forward. As I said, when you register in SAM, you have a default profile, and a lot of basic information moves over from SAM into, we call it the DSBS for short, but it moves into the DSBS. But if I'm a contracting officer and I come in here and there's a particular field that will open up if I search for your business called your capabilities narrative, if I see that that is blank, then I'm going to be like, oh gosh, there's someone who's newly involved in government contracting. They don't even have their capabilities narrative field filled out. We work with our clients. Again, you'll have to gain access to go in and modify this add anything other than what just comes over from SAM or from the SBA, but we can help you gain the access, and then you can go in and keep this fresh. So some of the things that you can add in here that really increase your opportunity of being successful with contracting is your capabilities narrative, which is basically like 2 to 3 sentences that captures the essence of what you do with your business and how you can perform contracts. You can add keywords, which again, NAICS codes are very broad. Their descriptions are pretty broad, kind of not always like driving contract opportunities that are directly relevant to you, but keywords are, so they can really help to refine those contract opportunities. So you want to have that there. The SBA will update any certifications you receive, and that will show up here. So people will go to verify here that you are certified, or if your status with your application is pending. For example, if you're a woman-owned small business and you have an application that's been deemed complete, but you have not yet been certified, you can still pursue women-owned small business set-aside contract opportunities, but it has to show pending by the SBA. So the SBA is the only one that can change that. That will not be under your control when you go in here. Another category that you would want to have in here is prior experience or business history, somewhat like a resume. There's an opportunity to put contacts for those you've worked with and information about a contract or a commercial job. It doesn't have to be a contract. It can be a commercial job that you perform Again, this is a place that a contracting officer is going to kind of validate and verify you're the things you say you are. So they're going to look in SAM, they're going to look here, they're going to look at your website, they're going to look at your LinkedIn. You know, they're going to do their due diligence. Again, they like that low risk and best value aspect. And they have to show their due diligence in who they select to perform the contracts. So that's a dynamic small business search. You can also use this. You can go in here, you can see who else is working in the same NAICS code as you. So you can use this as a tool also. And a lot of other large primes will go here and they can search like, well, we want to work with a, you know, veteran, service disabled veteran owned business. So they can, you know, filter to search by some of those criteria. A Native American owned business, you know, they can search by location, you know, the state of Arkansas, or they can search by, there's a lot of different ways that they can search and find, you know, other teaming or contracting partners. And then this is an example of capability statement. So in the world of government contracting, this is an essential tool. You think of it as a resume is to a job search. You are not going to get past square one if you do not have a capability statement. And basically, it is the front of one letter-sized piece of paper, but the government is very specific that you cover 5 main categories of information. One of those is your capabilities narrative, which we just spoke to. You would take that and also put that in your DSBS profile. But again, it's, you know, 3 sentences in narrative form that captures the essence of your business, and, you know, tells something about the history of it, you know, anything that specifically, you know, your elevator pitch, basically. Then there's a category that is company data. So here's where you put things like my SAM registration, I have an active registration. Then you would put your UEI, you would put your cage code, you would put your NAICS codes, you could put other licenses you might have to have for your business. So just company basics go in there. Then there's the category called core competencies, and this is kind of a bulleted section that breaks down what you've put in your capabilities narrative and kind of an easily digested capabilities core competencies. So that's a bulleted section. And then you have a section called differentiators. So these are the things that set you apart from your competition. So maybe certifications that you have, special experience or expertise, special equipment, you know, anything that's going to differentiate you from others that might be vying for a contract opportunity. And then the final category is going to be, again, that past performance. So it's kind of like references for a job, but you want to put something that describes what job you've performed. It doesn't have to be a government contract, but if it's a commercial example, then, you know, you want to put something about it. You want to put a point of contact and their title. It's up to you and them. I would say consult with them, whoever is acting in that role for you, but you might think before you add a email and a phone number, because again, these things will be distributed. They'll be public information. You probably don't want to open them up to a lot of communication that they might necessarily be welcoming. But you can, you know, definitely put contact information available upon request. It's just, you know, that's up to you how you want to handle that, and the person who's kind of serving in that reference type role. That category is called past performance. If you can show that you have competed and performed on a government contract, otherwise it could be something like business experience or, business history. You would call it something different other than past performance. And these capability statements are exactly the marketing tool that you would send to a contracting officer at the county, at the city. You could drop it off. You can put it in with your proposal package. Some agencies at the federal level have a very specific format that they require that differs a little bit from this. But generally, that's a capability statement, but some of them, it's a little different the way the capability statement is formatted. But you can hand them out at networking events. I just say, think of it as resume meets a business card meets a brochure, but it's an essential tool for government contracting. So with that, that's kind of my brief overview. Please know that just about any one of these slides could be an hour's training in and of itself, which we do provide oftentimes, and your Apex accelerators can sit down and talk with you on a one-on-one basis and work with you on any of these aspects. And we do a lot more too, but I just kind of wanted to give you a broad overview, and then I'm happy to try and answer questions you may have.
Okay, that was so good, Kimberly. Thank you so much. If you guys want to put questions in the chat or the Q&A, I'll read them out to Kimberly and she will do her best to answer them.
I might just add, please, this is a lot of information in a short time. And, I want to introduce you to it. I say kudos to those of you who are contemplating government contracting or already involved in it, because, there's so many aspects to government contracting, even those of us that live and work in it all day, every day.
We have a
It's
question.
always changing. So
Stacy, do you want to ask your question? I think I know how to work this. Normally people ask in the chat.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good. So I think I can do the question. There's a Q&A that I could use instead of the chat, so that may be helpful for other people. One thing that we have struggled with, so our company is set up under SAM, and we have now, like, we applied for the women-owned business certification back in June. And initially they said it would be like a 60-day review process, and then it kind of shifted to a 90-day review process. And now it's an 8-month review process. And so we are like still waiting. Our submission is still in review. And so do you have any recommendations or any affirmation, encouragement that you can provide that just to keep waiting, or is there something different I need to do?
No. That particular application for the women-owned small business is the one that's running the longest these days. They're just a big backlog, and they take them in the order in which they receive it. So I think the veteran certification is probably the most expedient currently. 8A, because it is a 9-year commitment by the SBA. They want to make sure that whoever is in the program is going to be able to be successful in the program. And they really look closely at the narrative as well as the potential for success in their application review. But I think that one, there's quite a bit of scrutiny on that application, but definitely right now, the woman-owned small business application process with the SBA is the longest. Now, if you've got the 2 years, you might want to go ahead and pursue the
minority.
the state one. If you can show the 2 years of tax returns, because you'll already have all your documents in place, so
Yeah.
you can go ahead and begin that process. It's not as lengthy of a process, but again, they take it in the order in which they're submitted, so it varies on how long that time is, but not 8 months.
Yeah, you may already know this, but yeah, we're on month 9.
Oh
So,
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all under the, that's the review all occurs within the Small Business Administration. That's not anything we can, weigh in on or expedite.
Okay, well, that helps. That makes sense.
Okay, Marion has a question. So I've allowed, Marion, if you want to talk, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yes, ma'am. It was just a question. Most of the things that I'm here in Little Rock, but most of the information that came across today, I was kind of familiar with, but it's just like the other young lady that mentioned earlier about the woman-owned business cert. That's the same thing that happened to me, and even at the state level. I applied last year, but it's taken. So right now, the representative that I spoke with was saying that, they didn't have a lot of help. So where it would take 90 days at the state level, it's still taking. It was last year, June, when I applied. And so it'll be June here again, after a while. But that was one of the same issues that I was running into as well. But even going on sam.gov, because I have everything that I need, even my numbers, when it comes to the DUNS number and cage code and the unique identification number that they give you on sam.gov. It's just a lot of the criteria that is provided on the website. It can get kind of lengthy, but I have been kind of studying a lot of the material that was put on the website, but it's still some things that is not, for me, is not clear, because it puts me under the impression a lot of times going into the website that either a line of credit is needed, or it's not clear. I know you have to do bidding, and so they put it up against a certain system whenever you go and make the bid, but it's still unclear whether you need to come in with that line of credit, if that's a requirement, in order to, just in case you win the actual contract, for reasons to where you would have to go ahead and, I guess, say, put up goods or services, and then you invoice and they pay you back. As a lot of that is not explained. So for me, going in, looking at it, it's just like unclear. Now I can go in and do the work and bid on it, but then when you get to a certain point, like, are you stuck as far as that is concerned?
You raise a couple of good points. One is, please know that, certifications are kind of like the icing on the cake, right? The value of what you do in your business is your business. A certification is, it can add credibility, and it can, allow you to compete in those reduced pools of competition in the particular category, but it doesn't keep you from pursuing contracts, in the meantime. You just can't go for like a woman-owned set aside without the certification. And then, every solicitation is different. And it's going to specify exactly what the terms are, what the requirements are, what the scope of work are. They have to spell it all out in great detail. And sometimes the contracting officers will allow a period, they'll, be specific about a question period that you can, follow up with them, and then they will develop the answers and put it out for everyone so that there's, again, no preferential treatment to any one party. But those are all good opportunities to get some of the finer questions you might have regarding a solicitation addressed.
Okay.
Okay, we have a question from Regina. If you want to unmute yourself.
This is quite a lengthy information, and I want to know, can it be printed out?
We'll email it to you. A recording and we'll send you the recording.
Yeah, it's a lot to
said I
digest
can
at
use it.
once.
We'll send you a recording of the webinar.
Okay, cause I'm kind of like a vision person. I like to see it.
We'll have to see if it's small enough to email the PowerPoint. I'm not sure. I can't answer that question for you right now.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. We've got some questions in the chat, in the Q&A, so let me answer those. In what case are you requiring a business plan?
We don't really get involved in the business plan part. Our wonderful resource partners at the ASB TDC, they really can help you to develop the business plan for your business, but we really, we work side by side with them. And a lot of times the businesses that we work have some experience. They've been in business. They're not just launching their business.
So the government does not require a business plan to submit an application or to submit a bid.
Again, all of those requirements would be stated in the particular solicitation.
Okay, got it.
Any of those requirements, whatever the proposal needs to include, it'll be spelled out very
For
detailed.
the specific like
Mhm.
contracting opportunity.
And we don't really work with clients in developing their business plan. Again, the Small Business Technology Development Centers really
Yeah.
y'all are very experienced and can provide great help in that.
Yeah, that's our wheelhouse if you find a contract that needs that. Okay, so another question. And I think I'm interpreting this correctly. If they're getting government contracts, can they also work with private companies? This is Rose's
yeah.
question.
Yes, as long as you've got the capacity and the ability to, do it. Yeah.
Rosa, did I get that right? Okay.
So government contracts just can kind of augment your other business. Again, for those reasons I mentioned at the beginning, it can maybe help to stabilize your revenues or help you project your business growth or scale your growth. It's just it's kind of an add-on if you want to work in the, or your whole business may be just a government contract. So, but they're not exclusive of each other.
Okay, and then from Marion, we have, is a line of credit needed to apply for
I
contracts?
think I already asked that.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought so. I just wanted to repeat it.
Yes.
Okay, information on the A-Day, how is the paperwork handled?
It's, so it's an online application process, and you have to upload the documents on the online portal. And then, if a particular question doesn't apply, then you would write, put on your letterhead on a piece of paper, how it, doesn't apply. But all of that gets uploaded in that certified.sba is where you go to submit your 8A application. Really, all of them get submitted there.
Okay, the next one is the daily bid list you spoke about. That is a wider search than the old system. And when do you expect that system to be live?
Okay, very good point. So, our bid match system has been inactive for, since the end of last year. We are going to be transitioning to a new service provider. It's not just us, it's a number of Apex accelerators who have experienced this. But anyway, we are transitioning to a new service provider. So we are hopeful that it will be back up and available to our clients the early part of April. Good news. We can't wait, all of us.
Okay, and then the website for this information is, and I'll put it in the chat. What is the Apex website, Kimberly?
It's www. Sorry, apex.uada.edu.
Okay, I just put that in the chat for you guys. Okay, let me minimize this and go back to the Q&A and make sure I'm not missing. Okay, mine is a construction company. Someone else will help me do the jobs, but I am the owner of the company as well. I will be in control of everything. Will I still be able to qualify for any of the women programs, even though I'm not doing all the jobs manually?
So there's different arrangements. When you're a prime contractor, you can enter into different types of business structures like joint ventures, or you can subcontract with others to do the work. Different types of arrangements allow you to access different types of so you can be a large business and team with a small business that has a service disabled veteran owned certification, and then pursue contracts with them. But it's a specific, business arrangement that you enter into, and then in some instances, the SBA has to approve it in advance before you go for the contract. So they're different types of opportunities, but I think the one you're probably talking about is the prime and a subcontractor. So you could be the prime contract holder and then have subcontractors working with you to perform the work, but there's limitations on what they can subcontract, what you can subcontract out. And we'd be happy to work with you on, that as it specifically relates to your business.
I think I got all the Q&A. Let me see if there was, okay. Okay. Recording. We'll send the PowerPoint deck to the email in your registration. The recording will be on the website on our resources page. Okay. So that's the plan for the recording and the PowerPoint. So you'll get the PowerPoint through your email, and then the website will be in, the recording will be on the website, and that our website is, and the location where it'll be is also in the chat where I put the Apex website. So y'all can.